So which is it? Essentially, the left has been put in a position where they now have to choose. Is it worse to say women can't be men and can't swing it as men, so we need to measure them differently, or to say they can and let them fail under the standard that is the male standard?
Right. So the Army Combat Fitness Test, this is a test that they have soldiers do in the military to determine, how fit they are for battle, whether they should be up for promotions or for certain job selections. Mm-hmm. And the Army put quite a bit of effort into making this test over the past few years gender neutral, to where, everyone is judged on their own merits for the same standards. And, that seems like equality to me. But as it turns out today, with today's left, that is not good enough. Instead, the left wants everyone to be judged based on their sex and their race, and so
does that mean before everybody had to do the same number of push-ups, the same number of chin-ups, the same test,
the same standards applied to everyone?
Okay,
and they were all judged on that scale.
Okay,
and what this led to was a 65% fail rate for women and a 10% fail rate for men. And
oh my.
The left, of course, doesn't want equality of opportunity, equality of, sharing the same standards. They want equality of outcomes.
Yeah.
And so whether it destroys the effectiveness of the military or not, whether it cheats certain males out of a job that they are qualified for or not,
or more qualified for,
they're going to force the outcomes that they want. They're going to force, just as many women getting promotions and getting jobs as men. And so they're wanting it. It looks like that the military is considering changing the Army Combat Fitness Test, the ACFT, to have different standards to where each gender would be graded on a percentile of how they are compared to their peers,
other people
in their
that gender.
Yeah.
Well, man, if I were a male then and I wanted to make the top 10th of the top 1%, I would identify as a woman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I would be judged on those standards. Man, I would look like a frickin' Navy SEAL.
That's an interesting part of this, because if you're a man and you're good enough to be in the military, but this new system pushes you out, just identify as a woman.
Absolutely. Boom. You're back in. You're not only are you not out, you're in the top quartile then, or the top quintile.
And with Joe Biden's new push to for transgender equality in the military, nobody's going to push against you if you're just like, I'm a woman.
They can't.
It will be spectacular. It will be absolutely spectacular. And I can't wait to see, fellas, the fatigues that they use and the standards they use for pregnant women who are 9 months pregnant who are taking this test. I think if they can sit up on their own, that probably makes it. If they can make it to the kitchen and get a cup of coffee, that probably qualifies them for combat right there. Yeah. Because we know if there's one thing our enemies are, it's civil and decent to pregnant women.
Of course.
What this really does, I think, to me, is it discredits the women that actually are qualified, that actually are working hard enough to be at the same level as a lot of men. And at this point, they're just kind of giving them free brownie points just for being a woman, and that's just kind of demeaning, in my view. So.
No, absolutely. The feminists and just kind of the cultural left put themselves in this horrible position when they want the equality of outcome that they so desperately crave. They put themselves in a position where they could shoot for equality, which is what has been discussed for centuries as equality for women. I don't think anyone can argue against equality for everyone. It's a good thing. That is an innately good thing. But when we start, measuring people up equally, then the result being, not exactly what I would have liked, results in a push for the opposite, where now we need to divide women out and need to measure them differently because they can't swing it. Mm-hmm. So which is it? Essentially, the left has been put in a position where they now have to choose. Is it worse to say women can't be men and can't swing it as men, so we need to measure them differently, or to say they can and let them fail under the standard that is the male standard?
Right.